It happens. You have a panel full of subject matter experts, and there is always that one person who has a whole lot of expertise who will drone on and on and on and on. And you're thinking, I need to cut this person off. Yes, you do. My name is Kristen Arnold, and I am a master facilitator and a leading authority on moderating panel discussions. And you do. In this video, we're going to find out how. So yes, the good news is you have to cut off that windbag, that panel hog, that dominator, that person who is going on way, way, way too long. You have to do it in support of the audience. Now, I get it. You are very, very concerned that you will make that panelist look bad. In this video, we are going to be talking about how not to make that panelist look bad and how you can intervene firmly and gracefully so that the panelists all feel good about your intervention and the audience is saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's dive right in. So there are basically three specific scenarios where you must intervene. The first one is when the panelist is going on and on and on. In fact, they are probably repeating themselves. And you can actually see the panelists start getting bored, the audience starts getting restless, it's going on way too long. Another scenario is maybe you're sensing from the panelists that they want to weigh in to what that dominating panelist is saying. And finally, the audience might just be getting tired of that panelist who continues to weigh in, usually as the first one, but we're hearing from that panelist way too long. The airtime is looking severely imbalanced. Now, I do want to warn you, the idea of cutting off somebody, it's just so horrible to say, hey, I'm going to cut you off. No, you're not really cutting anybody off. What you're doing is you're redirecting the conversation. And this is the way you do it. First, you want to prevent that panelist from dominating in the first place. Even before the panel starts, you are coaching your panelists through your initial meeting, the emails that you send out as people come up, and you probably have a sense of who that dominator is going to be. You want to make sure that you lean into that person and make sure that they understand that they need to be aware of the fact that this is only a 45-minute panel discussion and you have 4 people on the panel. Keep your questions or keep your answers concise and brief and to the point, and make sure that it's a team sport, balancing out the airtime. Now, what you do is you tell everybody that. Now, if you know that you have a dominator, you might want to lean in a little bit more, have a one-on-one just as a reminder, but pretty much in all of your correspondence, you want to make sure that people know that this is a conversation and it's a team sport, that everybody gets a chance to touch the ball. I hope you picked up some pointers here about how to cut off that long-winded person. And if you did, maybe hit the like button or maybe even subscribe to this channel. I'd appreciate it. The other way that you can prevent that dominator from dominating is the way that you structure your panel. Periodically, you want to shift up the format. I call it shifting gears about every 6 to 10 minutes. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that this is kind of a drumbeat that I have. About every 6 to 10 minutes, you do something that involves all the panelists and even the audience. And that's a way that you can make sure that everybody is getting involved. So use the structure and the format of the panel to make sure that it is, in fact, a team sport. Okay, so you've tried to prevent the problem from happening in the first place, but it's still, you have a high probability that it's going to happen anyway. So when you see that, you have a choice. You can either let it go or you can decide to intervene. And this to me is more of a style issue. I've seen some panelists who jump right on in and move the conversation around. And you've seen this on television with panels on your talk shows or on your news opinion journalist programs. You see them redirecting the conversation all the time. So you have a choice. Do you let it go or do you intervene? And the easiest way to intervene is that when there's a pause, a lull, when that person is taking a breath, is that you pop out one of these phrases. That's an interesting point, Silvio. Samantha, what do you think about what Silvio just said? Very quick and easy to do. Sometimes you need to integrate a little bit of gestures. Hold on there, Silvio. That's an interesting point. Samantha, what do you think? Now, some of you tend to be a little bit more tactful and you'll say, excuse me for interrupting, Silvio, but I think Samantha over here has an interesting point that she'd like to share. Another way that you can do that is to say, wow, that's one side of the coin. How about if we hear from Samantha? She might have a different view. These are sentence starters that you can have in your back pocket. And if all else fails, here's my favorite. Just stop the conversation saying, you know, we're going to shift gears here and you go into the next segment of your program. Finally, I think that there are so many opportunities to see how the pros really navigate a panel discussion. Hop onto a talk show or a news journalist program and see how they manage the conversation among several people. Now, it's all about style. All of these talk show hosts or journalists, they have their own style. Watch the people that you think has a style that is as closely aligned to what your style is, and you'll pick up some really great pointers. So just keep in mind, you are doing everyone a favor when you cut off that long-winded panelist. You've gotten some ideas about when to do it. You've gotten some ideas, some starter sentences. And if you're looking for more ideas about how to moderate a panel, just go to my website to download a free white paper on how to moderate a panel. And guess what? The URL is www.howtomoderateapanel.com. Thanks for watching.